Okay, well, welcome back to the third episode of Mama Bird's Cuckoo's Nest. We have our extra special guest, QT Mayfield, here with us, and Lala. We are going to talk this time about growing up biracial and raising biracial kids. I guess specifically in a small town too, because that's probably going to come up a lot. So we're going to just talk to Mr. Quentin about your childhood growing up. How was that? You said something about your parents.
As a kid, I grew up as with a single mother. Parents separated when I was younger. I had a active father, which my mother was white and my dad was black. It was an experience as a child to be raised in two different cultures. Mm-hmm. You raised from a white side of the family that's from Marshall County, from Alabama, from out in the county wise, and then you were raised from another side of the family that are from rural city of Mayfield or from Hickman area, from around the area, or from around this area. So I mean, it's kind of you see different things and things done different ways.
For those who aren't from around here that watch us, being from Marshall County around here, mm-hmm. I grew up in Marshall County. My family's from Grace County, but I grew up in Marshall County. And I went to high school with 0 black people.
Yeah.
I don't even know that there was
I couldn't imagine.
Mexicans or anything. Jay's friend's mom was in school with me the whole time, and that's what Marvin, after when me and him got together and I had like my high school yearbooks, he would go through them and he was like, what kind of alternate universe is this? Like, where is that? So that was, I imagine that was a definite contrast.
Well, as when I was a kid, you didn't see many mixed kids. You might have seen a few of them. Like you might have seen like 4 or 5 of us, running around together. But I mean, you really didn't see many mixed kids. Like now, you go to schools and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a culture pot. I mean, it's completely mixed. So, I mean, it is a lot different.
And when I was growing up, like when I was in high school, like I don't feel like we had an abundance of.
And you went to the county, so you went to the county schools and you went to the city schools.
How many? Yeah, like a handful.
And y'all, that was a large school.
Yeah.
How many students?
We graduated with what? About 300, Trent? Like
Jesus.
300 in the our graduate
How many
class.
did you graduate with?
Like 120 something.
I think we had like 83.
I think it was like 119.
Actually, I think it was 4.
Grace County,
I went to Grace
Mayfield.
Yeah.
I want to say we were at like
well, of course it's 300 because was it like 4A? Isn't
yeah?
So that
big old
means
school.
1,200 kids in the school.
We were 4A, I think, when we went to school.
I think y'all still are. Unless y'all, I think I might have dropped down to 3.
Do you know
I think
what
y'all are
Marshall
after.
Is
Marshall's a 5.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah, they're
I thought Graves was 6.
Nah.
They're I don't know
If Graves was 6,
same class or maybe a class.
they'd be mad.
Because of their size. The school size.
and even
Yeah,
now,
they're
like,
huge.
Grace County is more, has more of a mix of students now.
I don't know.
Mayfield
But low-key,
is
it gives me a reason to
probably-
use this camera
I would
now.
say being white in Mayfield
Yep,
schools
hold
is
up.
probably a minority.
We can figure it out, guys.
Between like the large Hispanic population that we have here and like black or mixed of
Wow.
some sort, it seems to be.
Figure out
in
Grace County
Mayfield.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, in Mayfield it's a lot mixed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really mixed.
So they didn't stop.
I really think within the
No,
next couple
I
of
think
generations,
still keep talking. It's just showing up.
it's all gonna be
Yeah.
brown.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
something.
Yeah,
like, you're
everybody's-
not
Yeah,
gonna
schools.
be any specific thing
Yeah.
at
Let's
all.
see if I can figure it out from the website.
Yeah, from a lot difference from whenever I was a kid, and there was just a few of us
Yeah.
that were mixed. And
So
now-
did you stick out like a sore thumb? do
Well,
you
I mean, it
think,
was always
or-
compared to if we were either Hispanic, we were always considered Hispanic, or I mean, just black. It wasn't,
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh,
like
no, I
this.
can go.
Yeah,
Grace
That's
County.
Jay. I mean, anybody, if you just look at Jay,
Yeah.
his
People get
skin tone-
get like not really weirded out, but they always get shocked when I say I'm mixed. Like
because they think I'm black.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, 5A, Graves County.
Yeah. His dad was a very, very, very dark skin. That whole family is very, very, very dark skinned, and so he doesn't even. Carissa doesn't look mixed either.
Carissa, yeah, she doesn't either. No, she looks really dark.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting. And so do you think that there was anything specific growing up? That he had to eat too. I never ever saw people. He's been munching on all of them. Anything specific from growing up that you feel like you were different or you were singled out about anything? This could go to you too, Jay, if there was something that you...
What'd you say?
Like, when you were growing up, you did feel singled out being mixed.
So being a mix in general, or being singled out as being identified as something else?
Like maybe you didn't quite fit in black culture, and you didn't. So like you kind of left out.
As a kid growing up, I mean, you didn't fit into the black groups. Mm-hmm. You didn't fit into the white groups, you know. And as me, I was raised middle class by a single mother and a father that shared custody. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, I wasn't raised in the projects and I wasn't raised in the suburbs.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was kind of who do I hang out with? You know, it's just because and that's why now as a grown up, I have white friends and black friends. I mean, it's just.
Was the mix in Mayfield, when you were growing up, like you said, you weren't raised in the projects or whatever, like, was there a good amount of other black kids who were raised in the suburbs, like, with you?
Well, I wasn't raised in the suburbs.
I mean, not wherever you said you were raised.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with my cousins just right down the road from me. I mean, we all grew up and hung out and.
So you did have a.
So yeah. I mean, there was never a time where I was. My mom didn't raise me as a white kid. She raised me as a young black man trying, you know, that's what I'm going to face. And that's exactly how I approach the world, and that's how I was raised to approach the world.
I definitely think that Jay had a disservice done to him from being raised by
it's
me
kind of
and
weird
not having a black side of the family.
I don't know if
he's
it was because of
interacted with.
Mayfield or if it was because of being biracial, but like, cause like everybody in Mayfield, all the black kids in Mayfield are like related somehow. So I don't know if it was because I was mixed and they were all black was because I was like didn't fit in, or it was because they all like they were all cousins, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like I had no relate because my mom was from Marsh County and my black side is all the way down in Florida. Yeah. Like I have no black relation to any of these kids. Yeah. But like, I mean, Will is cousins with Navi. I mean, whenever we go down to the bottoms, it's like you could point at somebody and it's probably related to him. You know what I mean?
Tom, that's not even the case because my people's from Mississippi.
Well, not you specifically, but like not like if you
like,
get Navi,
like the Merles and the Sherrills, they all
like they're all related.
Yeah.
So I was like the only one that wasn't like somebody's cousin.
And we do have that, like in Fancy Farm. Like if we go to Fancy Farm, either one of us, like I'm related to everyone.
Yeah, I will say on the white side,
Fancy Farm, but like
we're related to so many freaking white people.
Black culture growing up for him, it was me, my mom, my stepdad. Like my white friends, like, and it wasn't because I didn't want to have black friends. I guess I just didn't ever really interact in my day-to-day life with.
Yeah, but when you live in a small town versus living in a big town, like it's who you are and who your family is.
Oh yeah,
right.
And like where do you come from?
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows I'm Craig's daughter and Dana's daughter. Oh, you're an elder. Oh, you're.
Yeah, I mean, I probably didn't have like black friends until I was over like 18. I mean, I did in like high school with the few that we went to like school with, and it was like I said, like I can count on one.
I really didn't know any black people in person, have an acquaintance or friendship or anything like that until I moved to Florida and Jay's dad and all his friends, literally. Mm-hmm. Because just I didn't leave Marshall County. I worked at Patty's, and there wasn't any any. I mean, I think it was all white. It was a lot of Murray State College kids that worked there, and like old white men, kitchen help stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I literally think that I moved to Florida when I was 19 years old, and that was the first time that I had an actual like acquaintance.
But see, that's crazy to think though, for somebody that lives in Marshall County, that it's such a small rural area that even 20 minutes away from here, you really didn't hardly see any black people.
And my dad's side of the family was all from here, so I did like the every other weekend thing, and we were at the ballpark and stuff. But it's crazy to me that, like you said, I lived 19 years without interacting with another. And I don't know if it's like, I don't really remember my mom being outwardly racist, but like, also you just kind of do what you grow up around.
Yeah. But see, and that goes with the stigmatism of Marshall County is like racial place.
Yeah.
And it's, if you're black, you don't go to Marshall County because you're going to get hung. You know, you're going to
like,
get
I don't take my kids to
Tater
Day. And that's probably dumb of me at this point, but I don't take my kids to Tater Day.
But see, the crazy thing is, and funny story is when I was a kid, my mom took me to Tater Day and won the Easter egg hunt at Tater Day as like 3 or 4 years old. Yeah. And made them and made them so mad. Oh, made them so mad.
That's crazy that Zion Harmon
I swear.
went to like Marshall.
I'm saying black. I feel like
I wonder how his experience was like Zion Harmon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
But at the same time, I feel like he wouldn't have done as good. I feel like that's probably what made him so good was he was just getting rolled because he was the only black person in Marshall, and he was like, I feel like
had him doing them.
If he went to Mayfield that year, think about, I mean, would he really have been like number one? Because that was the same year as Bubba and Cade and Would he have had a starting spot on Mayfield squad? You think?
For sure. He's the number one player in Kentucky. At the time he was. At the time he was.
I
would
think
not start the, you know what I'm saying?
That like the whole thing, like about like in Marshall County, like even the people that I grew up with, I don't know that I ever heard anybody like say the N-word or like be like actually say something negative, but it was the jokes and it was the, you know, the innuendos and the like the just the whatever.
Colt 45.
Or what?
I said the Colt 45.
The Colt 45. But like I mean, even when Jay was little, which I mean, we do have a dark sense of humor and we laugh about everything. But like we tell like awful jokes. But I would say stuff like I felt like if I said stuff to him and got him like used to stuff, that he wouldn't take all that stuff to heart as much. But I don't feel like he experiences that living here as much as I had in my head that he would because of where I came from.
Yeah.
And what so like, did I make my own kid racist? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he kind of has his days.
Well, and how you said, like, you know, you were from Marshall County, while I was just from Grace County, but I still didn't, like, socialize with a lot of, and I was just minutes, you know, from, like, Crosstown, Boxtown, whatever, all, you know, like, all of that, and I still didn't, like,
And I will say that the only times that I did interact, because obviously my dad was a drug addict and his, you know, they did a lot. So like my dad would go across town. I would be in the car. I would interact. So I interacted with that, which is a complete stereotype. And then when I moved to Florida, I mean, but what do you hear as a young white kid about what black people are?
Yeah, true.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Florida and I got in with Jay's dad, who is quite honestly not the best crowd to be hanging in. I'm trying to be whatever about that, because I do love his family and all that, but they are, I mean, they were in the straight hood, like the bricks projects, like, so like I go from never having a black friend to complete stereotype of what black people are, you know.
Which
what I'm
was
saying?
finally a culture shock.
Oh hell
yeah.
Well, but I'll tell you, growing up with an addict dad and the way that they lived, it really wasn't that much of a change from, like, I say the trailer park and the hood really ain't that different. What'd you do?
What? No, we've been recording.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I laugh about that. The trailer.
Simon's just running out.
The
This
trailer.
man
We
just
got
came in,
to cut.
Yeah.
And I probably
Trent,
say
right?
shit that's awful.
I
And
don't
tell
feel
me
like
if
y'all
I.
are going into things as deep as you should, do you?
Well, what questions would you like for me to ask?
The first one, go deeper into it.
The traumas from growing up biracial?
Oh, about your parents.
Oh,
we're
about
gonna
we
get
haven't. Yeah,
Oh,
we're gonna go into. I want to hear about his parents for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna get
Yeah.
there.
we can go ahead.
That's
Yeah,
a whole
talk about it.
Notebook, love story kind of situation.
But so, has your mom ever dated a white man?
Yes. Yeah, for a short period of time.
Like when you were
Yeah, as a
after you
yeah,
were born?
Yeah, after I was born, yeah.
Was it weird?
No, I mean, no, it wasn't weird. But I mean, no, it wasn't weird.
She just wasn't.
I guess, no, it just didn't work out.
So tell. But
I
did,
mean, we
gotta block her. Oh my god. So tell, but okay. So when they went to high school, did they go to Mayfield?
They both went to Mayfield.
Okay.
Which my mom, she originally, actually, she went to school at Marshall County,
Okay.
and then they moved to Mayfield, and this is back in the 70s, middle 70s.
So we were at
Let's
talking
not
about
forget.
Quentin's mom and dad's relationship. Quentin.
Technical difficulties.
All right. Like I said, we started off with my mom was from Marshall County. She moved over here when she was in middle school. My dad was born and raised here in Mayfield. Mother was a teacher for the worked at Dunbar for a little while, and then went to work at the high school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then his father, his dad was killed when he was younger. What's so funny?
He said,
I'm trying to tell.
he said, speak up. Sorry.
I'm over here trying to tell you about my story. No.
She's laughing at you.
So anyway,
Well,
so my dad's dad passed away when he was younger. So he was raised by his mother. There was another guy that she met, Mr. Burdine, which he was a teacher at the Dunbar High School, and I think he was a teacher at Mayfield. I think my parents might have started seeing. I'm not really for sure seeing each other maybe whenever they were in high school, but they had to keep it a secret because it was back in the 70s. It wasn't something that was supposed to be told or being something supposed to be done. Mixing whites and blacks. So they had to keep it a secret for a long period of time. Even I was told even when they were went to prom, they weren't allowed to go to prom with each other. And this is back in 1977 in Mayfield High School. So
did they go with like friends? And
they went with friends and then they met right there at the prom, kind of like a little romantic story kind of line.
So was that like? Do you think like their parents were like they knew that their parents would be okay with it, or just like in general it was understood that
that I understand it and that I was told that neither one, white or black, liked for them to date opposite race. My mother's dad was not for it. He was very highly against it. And then even my dad's mother was against it, about him dating a white woman. So I mean, it's not just in the white community; it's also in the black community that, some people just don't want.
I think it's just that for so long it didn't. Like you just have this in your head that that's not supposed to. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the older generation has just had it beat into them that you don't do that.
Yeah.
So, because I know when I got pregnant with Jay, I was afraid of what my family back home was going to say.
Well, I'm already knowing you was thinking about Granny Carol and Granny B. Yeah. I'm already knowing that's going to go crazy. Did
So no, none of them said anything. My dad he said some smart ass shit, but none of them really said anything. But Marvin's granny, Pumpkin's mom, said she was pissed. She did not want. She called them. She didn't want no half-breed grandbabies. That's what she said.
Dang.
She did not want it.
Freaking mudblood.
Yeah, she was a mudblood. She was against it, and none of my family. I was like super surprised that like how it went.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about mine. Like none of mine said anything to me, but like was stuff like.
I do know that things were said by my extended family, but behind my back, not.
But like, who cares?
Oh yeah. My mother was very much talked about.
Oh, I'm sure
As
back
growing
then.
up, dating a black man and then having kids.
Were they married?
Yes, they were
before
married.
they had kids.
And was she just like like I feel like back in the day it was like like
dissociated from
like disowned, like was she
no, I mean I'm sure there was some family members that had a lot of bad issues, but no, as close as a mother of my mom was a child of 5, and I've always been close to my cousins that live over in Marshall County. We've grown up together. We're really close. I mean, that's the way we were. But I mean, it was the going to Tater Day or going to the 1,000 Mile yard sale or going to those things that you got looked at like man, that's a little black kid. I mean, even at the little motels and stuff over there, I remember as a kid, a family getting their kids out because me and my sister are in the pool. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was gonna be my next question.
That's
Like, do you
crazy.
feel like going?
Yeah.
So that's something that is something that sticks with you
Definitely.
forever.
Definitely.
And that's like I know that I would know people from like when I worked at Trifecta or Hamilton Riker or whatever, and I was in more of like an office setting and I had to be like more professional in the way that I acted, and people that knew me there, and then I would see them out at like Walmart or something, and I would have my kids with me, and you could tell that like they acted completely different.
Yeah.
And it was so, it wasn't like that in Florida. And I think it was like a larger city. It just wasn't weird by the time that I had him. Like, I don't feel like I got looked at. I mean, I do feel like I was talked about, but I don't feel like I was stared at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
now you
Like,
could be the white girl that's in the projects to be like, who's that white girl?
oh, I definitely was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there were a lot of people that wouldn't
And it's
talk to
worse,
me. Wouldn't, like, they were mad I was taking their men.
Yeah, use a thread and all that,
Well, I couldn't use a phone. I couldn't
Mama was
go
getting
in,
hoes.
It was a big. There were a lot of girls that did not. I got maced. Yeah, for real. So I was driving, and it was some girls that Marvin was.
And every one of these people that watch this are going to act surprised about you being maced.
Were you surprised about me being maced? That sounds like a story. Do you even know this story?
There's no telling. You probably told me.
I think I was getting off work. I worked at Burger King, and I worked with Marvin's mom at Burger King. And we closed, and I went, like, where her house was, there was, like, a block that you could drive to see if they were outside or whatever, and then I was going to her house, and I was driving the block, and somebody flagged my car down, and I stopped, and they opened the door, and they had a stick, and they were, like, hitting me with the stick, and then sprayed mace in my eyes and closed the door. I had to lock the door and drive around the block with
Just
mace
random?
in my eyes.
Just
because
random?
I was with Marvin. Like, I ended up finding out who it was.
I was one of his clubs.
And all that. Yeah, it was like a couple girls that were mad because... And that was before
Dad was
pregnant.
getting hoes too. Oh my God.
And now you know where you get the nose.
Man.
Now you know.
Man.
But, I mean, that was probably one of the most awful things. Like, mace is no joke. at all, and I had to drive. Like
Imagine Jesse.
I'm already knowing.
I'm like, yes! Oh my god! And I was crying when I got to fucking house. Fucking help me, fucking.
Did you be like, no, I'm not helping you?
Oh, she was pissed.
That pepper
She
soup
called
had me dying.
Marvin and was like, "You better
like
get
on
them
Friday.
girls. They messing with this girl over here, and she ain't did nothing to them."
Be like on Friday at the water hose, just
That's exactly what I was. I was in the front yard with the water
You're
hose.
not gonna need no water hose, you need milk. Put milk on the eyeballs.
For real though, that was some. There was a lot with that.
Yeah.
Like I was, and they sold drugs, so we were on the. It was the bricks, Parkside, like the projects. So I was always out there. I was Jenny on the block. That's what they used to call me.
Becky on the block.
Becky with the good hair. Don't style me.
Lord.
But it was a whole experience for sure being a white girl and I was all black. Like I didn't have any white friends down there.
Yeah.
There was two guys. One of them was white boy Chris, and the other one I don't remember what his name is, but it was white boy in front of him. Like, and then I had Celia, and it was white girl Celia. Like. That was guess I was white girl Jency, but they didn't say it in front of me, so I don't really know. Yeah, when they're white girl Jency with the red lantern. That's exactly how they knew me. But yeah, do you feel like growing up, y'all's generation, like did you feel it when you were growing up as a kid here? Did you feel like you were shunned or anything like because of how your mom, or like that was still going on, or was it less by the time?
You talking about like another in like relationships?
I
with
guess
people?
kinda.
Like, I mean,
because you said not in general, you kind of felt like you fit in pretty well. So like yeah, in relationships, do you still feel like it was that way when you were growing up? Like you kind of had to hide some things if you were dating some.
I mean, there was times where I dated some girls that I was hidden from their family.
You were hidden.
Because I was hidden because of the color of my skin. It doesn't matter of who, what kind of person I was, what kind of person I am, and all that. It's just it was he's a black boy.
Well, I do know that within your last couple relationships that has been brought up still at 37,
that is true.
35 years old.
And that's that's kind of world we live in now, and that's because we still live in this small rural area that's still an issue.
Mm-hmm. And since I've been with Trent, so in the last 6 years, I've been called in-loving whore twice. Once by a girl that was way younger than me, Lindsay's age, who definitely. And then another one by David, he's an old white guy, crackhead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But, like, the fact that, like, that's still...
Yeah.
So, and, like, why is that an insult? Like, I don't get it. Like, and who are you... I'm married to a white man, so just because I'm, like, friends, just because I have in the past, like it's like I'm tainted forever because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're labeled. I mean, that's just, that's a society. That's how, it's who you are, who you have, and all that. I mean, it's people.
We're so far backwards here, too. So in college, JJ, in Bowling Green, now you're still in Kentucky, you're still in a fairly small town, but do you feel this pressure, like, do you feel the same way that you did at Mayfield? Did you feel this pressure at Mayfield, first of all?
Not in school. I didn't, because I feel like, again, like, all the black people were related, and they made up, I don't want to say the majority, but, like, a lot, and they were within the school. Like, and then, like, Navi's mom and Coach Bay and Coach P. So, like, they were the popular crowd, black people were, and so were white people. So there was no, like, nothing there.
What about in relationships?
Relationships, I mean, this one girl, prom, senior year, this one girl wouldn't let me be her date because she thought her dad was going to go crazy about it.
It's the same thing as when I was a kid.
Yeah,
My
there
mom-
ain't nothing
I was,
else
I was
really.
telling my mom she just stayed out of the ghetto, and she wouldn't have this. And then
Man.
they wouldn't have this problem.
Ooh, baseball. Being
That-
black playing baseball. That was bad. Just because, like, who was black playing baseball?
In
Like-
travel ball.
Yeah.
We would go to these tournaments in like Jackson, Tennessee, and all the big, you know, facilities, and he would really be the only black kid around that was playing baseball. It's not that way anymore. I have noticed that a lot. There's a lot more diversity in travel sports now than there were.
Seeing them at tournaments. And
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's really not. Like, I go, like, being an umpire,
Oh, well, yeah,
like,
that's-
I'll
I mean-
be back there 10U. There was, like, 2 black families. Like, seriously, in that whole 10U tournament. I don't know if it was this. Because other weekends, like, there's been, like, last year I would umpire, there was, like, teams of black people. Like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't nothing. It might have just been the weekend specifically, but I
it's
really
like,
didn't
they
meet
feel
many
more
black.
comfortable traveling, you know, certain places rather than.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't really know much about Evansville, but, like, it's Evansville.
I would say, yeah, Evan, I would be.
Wide open.
I would be more worried coming to somewhere like Mayfield or Madisonville or like one of the
Yeah.
smaller towns than I would be.
Well, I just know like a couple of years ago when I did, you know, worked tournament, like I just felt like there was like good diversity in travel ball.
Yeah, and, like,
maybe I'm just
there
thinking
was...
about rec ball because we have the rec ball program. But
Yeah.
I mean, think about that video that was posted on the ballpark page last year. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Of opening day,
They did
people
that.
with the
yeah.
parade
Yeah.
coming, and there was
Yeah.
somebody in the background that
Yeah.
said that word. I mean, and like, I shouldn't have to go through and listen to those videos. To, you know, I loved it. Well, then I'm racist, and then I'm, you know, that
Yeah.
goes like that went on, and I was like trying to like, please don't tell people like do you want the ballpark to be all white?
Yeah.
So like, don't go tell people that we're racist when you haven't come
Yeah.
talk to me. Like, you don't
Yeah,
know.
racism is live and well, and it's never gonna go away.
It's never gonna go
Never
away.
gonna
It's
go away.
never gonna go away. And
I think it will.
Well,
I think it
when,
will.
once
does. I
once
because all
everybody's
you would
Right.
around,
you would hope to, but then
Yeah.
the thing is you'll get to a society where once everybody is a certain color,
it'll be something else.
it'll be well, there's the blue-eyed group,
yeah.
and then there's the green-eyed group. They're gonna find a diversity. They're gonna find a way to single somebody out. That's like back in the day. It wasn't whites and blacks. It was. I mean, you had the Moors. You had the Romans. You had.
Mhm.
You know, it was where you from, not who you were. You know, it was, and it wasn't this white and black labeling until didn't start until like later on.
1800s,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
slavery.
yeah,
Nowadays,
slavery
it's
time.
not even color; it's more like sexuality, kind of.
But now,
Even on
I
top
think
of
it's
that,
a
like,
class thing. Like if you're like low income single
That
mom,
too.
and then if you're a 2-parent household with what, like I feel like you get put in
Yeah.
those envelope or whatever.
Growing
those
up, though,
falls
That's a
more
question
than-
I
I
ask
really-
if I'm messing with a girl.
I
like,
really still never
what?
felt like that. Because, like, well, I mean, I never had, like, a father figure on it, but, like, I never really was uncomfortable. That sounds so freaking weird to say. Like, Momo painting my nails, or, like, watching Barbie,
You've
eating dinner.
never
Like,
been
it
that
just
way.
didn't bother me because, and, like, going outside, like, gay people doesn't affect me because, like, it's just not, I don't care.
It's
But that's-
doesn't
I mean,
And
matter.
it
same
has
with,
to do
like,
with your raising.
black and white.
that's the dude. 'cause
Like,
you
I
were
had
with-
black and white in the
Yeah.
house, so it was regular to me.
Yeah.
So it didn't affect me outside the house. Same with, like, watching the Barbie as a man. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But
see, and
still.
as a person that's like growing up, and as me as Trent, if you watch Barbie, you would look at it a certain way.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
know what I'm saying? And that, and I mean, it's just.
I
You really
remember
know that 'cause your
sitting
little
at the
sister
dinner
don't
Yeah.
table,
play it.
and Momo was
Yeah.
saying, or Jay said, it was something about a color, and Momo wished that her favorite color could be blue, but it can't because it's a boy color. And I was like, I don't think there are boy colors and girl colors. Like, I think you just like what you like.
Right.
And JJ was like, yeah, because my favorite color is purple. And Mama was like, okay, well, my favorite color is going to be blue then. Like, and I was just like, very much like,
Yeah. But I mean, that's like when you grew up. Pink was girls,
yeah,
blue was
Yeah.
boys. That was
Yeah.
That was it. There was no difference, and you know, and that you know, you was raised as you were a boy and a girl's a girl, and now all that's changed.
You got everything.
And now
you can identify as a dog if you want to.
Oh my God.
That's real
That's
stuff.
a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into that one. Good Lord, how are we doing? Oh, we don't know what we're doing on
40
time.
minutes. 40 minutes.
Without the 20 that...
There was no nothing. I told you it was still recording.
I know, but we're not using that.
There was like 4 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay.
4 to 5.
Okay. So, like you talked about them getting their kids out of the pool when you came around. Is that the only incident that you can think of happening, or did that happen regularly? And
as a point of where I've visually seen that happen, like I've come to the point where, you know, you have the woman that sees the guy walking up, she's like, I'm gonna grab my purse a little bit closer. Or, you know, you go to the store and they're looking at you like, is he about to steal something? Or, you know, I come around and they're like, you know, oh, he's got to be up to no good. That's a big black dude.
yeah.
Or when you walk by a car and it goes beep beep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate whenever like people be in the car and you'll hear them lock their door from the inside. Yeah, that.
Well, that happened.
No, imagine they're in a fishbowl. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
He can't even.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
talk about how Mark treated you at the country club.
What?
at
Oh my
the country
freaking
club.
gosh.
We were members at the country
We're
club.
members at the country club. He knows this. He knows who y'all are. He knows I'm in relation to you guys. Still goes, and he thought I was stealing the freaking golf cart after the scramble because y'all gave it to me. And didn't we even pay afterwards or something? Like
I think
for
he
me
made them pay
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
And then I went and paid for the cart back because he straight up took my stuff
I gave you
out,
money.
put it on the ground,
Yeah.
and then like drove it back away and put it away. And I was like, what was that for? Like, that was my cart. And he was like, you didn't pay for this? I was like, yeah, I did. He wasn't having it, but
I heard there was always something every day about him trying to steal candy, like him saying you were stealing a drink or something when you would go in there.
he would go in there. He'd get mad because of the tea times. He would get mad about the balls. He would get mad about he'd get mad about the way we played the course. He'd say we were walking it too slow. He'd come by and he'd be like, tell us to hurry up pace because we're holding up this, that, and the third or something when there's like nobody on the course. Like,
was it you and other white kids or you and other black kids or a mix?
It was kind of, I mean, it was usually the same kids, but those kids were also kind of like troublemakers. It was like Ashton Rogers and like Rylan Crouch. And like,
really hard to say.
but then
You know
that's
what
what I'm
I'm
saying. They were
saying?
like troublemakers. But then you got like there would be like
They
Malik
didn't hang
and
out
coming
with
on
us
the
a lot. They just ended up
on the
every once in a
campus.
while in the same game.
But
And so,
they don't know that if they don't
Malik-
know Jay. That's the problem.
They seen Jay with me. Like, really.
Yeah. No, and what about, are there other instances where you felt like that other people have treated you differently, like you can visually see it? Is that the word?
there was all right. There was
visibly. I don't know.
a travel ball when we played that hustle team, and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
all throwing the N-word out.
Yeah, Jay
remember that
played
one.
a travel tournament one time and was pitching, and the parents of the other team were saying the N-word while he was pitching, trying to mess him up.
really?
And then
Man.
there was, I mean,
playing football. I think it was like the third round of playoffs. They're saying everything in the book, everything. They're talking about, go back to your house. Oh wait, y'all don't got one because the tornado. They was talking way. Oh
I
my
do
gosh, they was
remember
talking.
that.
They was talking. I think Navi.
Yeah.
I don't know who. was
Navi
trying to
said
fight. I
he
think Navi was trying to fight.
got talked to crazy. Is what he said.
Man, he was calling us monkeys. Man, I remember I broke up a screen. Dude was trying to step on my neck, and I almost got a flag for pushing his foot. I don't know. It was crazy. They was trying
Yeah,
to.
my neck.
There was
He was finna step on it, and I pushed.
I just
Oh.
am not. I just don't understand what the. I don't know. I've come a long way, though. I guess, like, that's one of those things. Where do they come from? What people are they around?
And that's
Who
what
do they listen to every day?
There is crazy people because I'll tell you. All right, so I did that. I protested for that Kyle Rittenhouse guy coming.
Oh yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse came to WKU and gave a talk.
4:30.
The 17-year-old that took the automatic rifle during the protest and went across state lines
And shot that dude.
shot
Yes.
2 people and killed them.
Yeah, so
And-
we at 4:30.
He's doing speeches now?
He's been going around. And listen, sorry,
But
so
he's out of jail.
he
didn't
didn't
go to
go to
jail.
jail. The charge got dropped.
What's he got? What's he
So,
doing? Speeches?
What? Wait,
He-
so
I-
school shooting,
it's-
basically.
Pretty much. So
Why?
he at 4:30 it had already been going on, but I got out there at 4:30. It started at 4. We marched all the way around campus, doing whatever. I mean, it didn't start. He didn't start speaking until like 7:30. So we were out there forever. I had a ticket. I bought 2 tickets. I bought one with my school email and my regular email because they were free. Because we were like buying them to fill up the seats.
So nobody
so
would be there and it would be empty when he
we're-
went in to talk.
So I had a ticket, so I got to go in. So I got my little wristband. You know what I'm saying?
You still got no.
Don't do this.
yeah.
Oh
And-
wait, no, this is
yeah.
good. Okay, no.
And and so we go in. I mean, we're chanting like it was crazy. So we go in. He comes in. He's talking, and when he's talking, all he's doing is defend himself. He's just saying how he got cornered and how he had to do this, and how he said that
I'm pretty sure
they were out. They were in the street. He said he
They're in
got
the
cornered
streets.
between some
So-
cars or something, and then he said he pointed his gun at these people and they backed up so they didn't die. And so he starts running again and he pointed his gun at these other people and they backed up so they didn't die. So he's pretty much just defending himself, right? Mind you, the whole time he's speaking, the entire front of DSU's packed with people. They're all chanting. You can't hear a word he's saying because everybody out there's so loud.
Also, they're chanting against him while
Yeah.
he's trying to talk.
And we made up half the audience. So
he would just go around colleges.
yes, and
talk.
he just told his side of the story. We get to the Q&A part. There was, all right, so we had him questions. He was stuttering. He was truly, he cannot speak. Like, we had him messed up. This white guy comes up, and, oh my gosh, I gotta look at the camera and say it right. All right, this white guy comes up, right? Mind you, this is his outfit. He's got on, like, blue jeans. He's got on, like, a short sleeve shirt and, like, a puffer vest and, like, a hat. Just, I don't know. He's just, oh my gosh. And so he gets on the mic. He goes, thank you. He's like, basically, he's just like, oh, thank you for coming out. Da 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 da. And then he's like, so I talked back whenever this first got mentioned about carrying to this, but they said I couldn't. But they said I could bring pepper spray. Well, the security pats me down and they took my pepper spray. So I just want to know, with the Second Amendment, yada yada yada, how are we supposed to defend ourselves from these people? And points to the corner and goes, how are we supposed to defend ourselves from these people? Everybody stands up and like just crazy. And I don't even remember what he said, but it said something and it was completely irrelevant. But oh my God, they were about to. And then when we walked out, we got out of there. Mind you, we got him out of there in 20 minutes, which was faster than any other college, they said. So props WKU type, you whatever. But we got out there and everybody's flooding out and white people are like flipping off, fights are about to start everywhere. The security's out there because they got to break up everything because it's just mixing out. The white people are trying to walk through. I hate to say white people, but like really it's what it was. It was white people were walking through and it was just conflict between white and black. Like it was just, and that's really the only
And
most
I
I've
just
seen
think that that's the completely insane. Like you said, that he's going around talking to people. But, like, regardless of what the protests were for and why he was there and whatever, take race completely out of the picture. How old's Malik? 15? 14?
15.
15? Okay, I've had a 17-year-old. And at no point ever in my life am I going to pack him and a weapon up and take him and go drop him off in the middle of a fucking war zone.
drop him off. He took himself.
No, his mom took
His
him
mom.
and
Oh,
drove
that's
him
it. What the?
across state lines. And
So he's
I
like,
just,
Mom, I'm finna go kill some people. So let's go. Like, that's how it went.
it is not ever my 17-year-old's job to protect anybody or anything from anything like that happening. So regardless of anything that happened, like what did he?
So he took initiative. He was like, okay,
Yeah.
I see this, that, and the third.
Because it was right after
I'm gonna go kill
George
I
Floyd
thought that
died.
was crazy. Yeah.
And so
It
there were
was
protests
right
in
after the
Minnesota.
protests of all that.
And it was it was like, I think it was the
The protests
NRA.
were crazy.
Yeah.
No, the
They-
craziest
they
thing
were
to
dead
me
ass
when they
wrong
rushed
for
the
what they was
Capitol,
doing.
whatever you call it. That's so crazy. That was in the
Yeah.
offices and all that. Like this.
And I think it was like a big, it was like the NRA or something. Like some crazy something had.
His lawyers. They paid for his lawyers.
Not even
Here's
that.
my
Oh,
deal.
God.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Anybody
This is
that
all-
knows me,
I don't either. We're totally off the subject, but I did think that it was interesting that he came and talked at WKU the other day. That was totally random. I was like, hey, Jay, can we do the podcast on Wednesday night? And he was like, oh, no, I'm going to a protest. And I was like, oh, what? You're doing a And I mean, I guess that's cool. Like, that's what you want them to do in college. I kind of think
It was fun. Like, it
He's-
truly was exciting. Like, I loved every second of it. It was like an adrenaline rush. I was
part
like
of
sitting
the
there shaking.
Diversity club or something that they have there. What'd you call it?
ISEC.
ISEC something, but it's a diversity, like all different. They're like a
Speaking
club
of
that they
diversity,
have.
Mayfield's really diverse. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
diverse.
what-
We got the most diverse school, I think.
So,
Second behind it's behind Murray, I believe.
Murray?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
I know Murray's the #1 school district in Kentucky.
of diversity.
I don't know about
Murray
diversity.
City?
Murray schools, they are like the #1 school district in the
But I
Like
don't see how, because
in
we got
like just not.
Academics.
I think it's like academic like related. I'm not 100% about diversity, but I know Murray's up there.
So, okay, so going into relationships now in today's day and age, because y'all said, like, we think everybody's just going to be brown and, like, how it plays out or whatever. So, like, you and your famous speech about, I got 2 kids by a white girl and I got 2 kids by a black girl.
Is that a famous speech?
It was
It is,
famous.
it is. There's a
It
lot
is
of them.
famous.
now you got one more white.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. But do you think, because I mean, your 2 are blonde hair, blue eyed, just
Yeah.
about. I mean, literally. And then, you know, Malik and
Then my
Malia,
other 2 are dark.
yeah, darker than you.
Yeah.
So do you notice differences in,
As a parent that was raised like that, I want to raise I feel like I need to raise my kids to know that there's differences. But as them, I feel like they don't have to face the same things that we faced when we were younger.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, things are more familiarized. You know, they're more. It's normal now to see mixed races, mixed relationships. Now you still have the issue of, you know, daddy don't want his daughter to date no black boy.
But like Zane,
But yeah, but then you got
does anybody know that Zane is mixed if they don't
if
see
you didn't know me, you probably would think Zane
There's a
just
little
had like,
kid in there.
you know,
The
maybe
one that
some
was
Italian
talking to
in
us?
him,
Yeah.
something different because he's got
blonde hair, blue
blonde
eyes.
brown, blonde brown hair
And I mean, he's.
yeah.
I
he's
mean,
pale. Yeah, he's paler than you.
That's a Momo.
Yeah.
Me and Momo are honestly the same color.
Yep.
Like our skin is. Honestly, Carter's probably the same color as you are.
Oh, yeah. Carter's definitely like, he
Yeah.
passes white.
Yeah, like crazy.
But
So, do you think that your kids,
want to be viewed differently. growing up?
like in the public eyes, like, do you
Yeah.
think that Zane and Azzy are gonna have it
Like, if you
easier
just
than
had
Malik
those
and Malia?
two.
I think in a society that people are going to lay judgment on the color of their skin, yes, definitely.
Like
They're gonna
you,
look different.
so you
at
said,
differently.
you said that you don't think that they'll face the same things that we did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do, you know, I see what you're saying because we were talking about, you know, raising biracial children. So, like, let's go to, you know, you raising Malik as a black, you know, a young black man. Like, so let's kind of go to a different subject with police brutality.
That
you know,
was rough.
that is,
Exactly.
so I mean, he will have to face that because I don't.
Jay already has.
It's those type of things as somebody. It's not that when my son gets pulled over, it's not just, you got to know, give him his license, give him your ID, or give him your driver's license. It's you need to go slow.
Mm-hmm.
You need to
keep your hands visible.
Keep your hands visible.
We did this when
you got to break it down to so automatically to certain people you're automatically looked at as a threat. Now that's not goes for everybody.
No.
That does not go for everybody. All police officers and all that does not go for them.
Right.
No.
Because because as a son, as my dad was a police officer, I got uncles that are my dad's best friends that are to me as my uncles that are white that are police officers. I got one of my best friends that actually today that I talk to that works in Louisville that he's a white police officer and they would not have any type of racial discrimination to them at all. But it's one of those things that you can't think of just those people. There's other people out there that are a threat.
When we taught him how to drive, this was something because like Trent being blonde hair and blue eyed and not growing up with any of this, and I don't think that a lot of white people who don't have a lot of interactions with black people really do understand how bad racism is a lot of the time because they don't see it.
Yeah.
And so like he I think has learned a lot, but like teaching him how to drive, that was something I was like freaking out about it, to be real honest. That was right in the middle of all that George Floyd stuff. Like that's when he got his license and all of the police brutality and all of the and so like I freaked out about it and we had to teach him. But like he got pulled over in Murray and he was in the wrong. He was out at like 1:30.
No. Let me tell the story. I had left, we had just beat Metcalf. This is like second round, like we're 2 games from going to state. Mm-hmm. Or we might have been.
But it was last year.
No, it might have been semifinal. I think we won semifinals, right?
It was
yes, this was my senior year.
We
had, so we had, and Murray had also won. So there was a party in Murray. I went. Mm-hmm. This is 11:45. I leave. I'm going to Hunter's. Right?
He's not supposed to drive after 12.
It's like 11.
Because he didn't have his full license. He didn't go take the class.
Yeah, I still had my intermediate.
To whatever.
So it's like 11:55. He pulls me over for improper lane usage. I was reaching for my dang Vaseline. I had dry lips. Come on. But I knew I shouldn't have been doing it. Whatever. But I swerved. Whatever. He pulls me over. He's telling me that he has video footage of how I've been swerving for miles and he's been trailing me for miles. And yada, yada, yada. And he's just mad at me, right? And so he goes. And then, like, 5 minutes later, another cop pulls up. And I was just like, but I see it happen all the time. I see 2 cops so I'm not worried about that, really. But then that cop stands by the car. And it was just the way I was sitting. But, like, in my mirror, all I could see was him here. Like, I couldn't see his face. I could hear him talking. But all I could see was his hand resting here, because that's all I could see in the little circle. And and then a couple more minutes pass, and he makes me do the little. He's like, "All right, he's just telling me, but I gotta do so I had to follow the light, and I did it, whatever." And so he comes back, tells me I had he was just mad at me. He was just like telling me how I was wrong and how I need to do better, and he gives me my court date, but.
Jay come home and he was like, there was no reason for that man to have his
I was kind of scared. Like, when he was telling me to read, I was like,
and
going to my glove box like this. I tried to get everything I could out before they got to my window so that, like, I didn't have to reach.
And it hurts my heart so bad because y'all know that Jay is he ain't hurting no fly.
Yeah.
But sometimes that can hurt you, though, like moving around before they even get to your window.
Yeah, that's what awesome.
Well, and I feel like you had made a post about, like, you had just watched The Hate You Give. Like, that is one of my favorite movies. Like, have you ever watched The Hate You Give?
And I watched Straight Outta Compton last night, or the night before, or most of it.
That was your first time watching
That-
it?
No, I just watched
it again.
It's a really
He
good
said he was
movie.
going straight out of Compton.
And
You were ready to.
it's-
I'm
That's something
loving it.
you
It was
have
so
to
good.
Really learn, like that's so, but even I catch myself when something happens. My first thought is a stereotype or something that I was taught, and I have to. My second thought is always, no, just like, but that first thought, how long? I mean, is it always gonna be there? That stereotype is always in my head, and
But
I
you
have to
gotta think-
like.
That's society though. We pass judgment on people all the time
About everything.
About everything. What they got on, what color their skin is, like how are they dressed, how do they address themselves, how do they how are their kids raised? I mean, people pass judgment on people so many times, and it is so much of a stereotype. I mean, it's just that's the way our society is. I mean,
So
it's
we do it about everything.
everything.
You're right.
Everything.
I can't.
You walk in
right,
Walmart.
Q,
You
okay.
don't want
Okay.
You walk in Walmart, and how many times do you lay judgment on the people that you're walking through right now?
I really
You know?
have
you got
tried. I go into Walmart looking like some kind of what,
Yeah.
so
So you
I
know somebody
can't
looking
really
at you
say
like,
no.
"Where'd you go?"
I really have tried though. I feel like over the last, so I started going to counseling in 2020. I realized that. So it's been 4 years, and I do feel like now, obviously, I do like to make fun of people and laugh. I'm not ever gonna say that I don't. We know that, but like I do try to like stop it, Jency.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know what
Shut
I'm
your
saying?
mouth.
Like I really am trying because I have been learning my own toxicity.
Yeah, I just be telling myself stop talking sometimes.
Yeah.
Cause like I know I'm not judgy. Like I really don't. I'm really not
Some shit's
disrespectful.
funny,
But
and
like
even if I'm gonna say it just because it's funny, even
Yeah.
if maybe
You
it
shouldn't
is,
say it.
You may not
yeah,
think it.
It'd be like woo. Nobody else needs to hear that.
I'm saying.
But I don't like a lot of times. I just say shit because it's a joke. I mean, I just like being funny. I don't really feel like I actually,
Mean it.
yeah.
But I also
Like,
don't
what she
realize
got
other
on, but
people
girl
don't
work
think it's
it.
funny.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Just
could
saying,
never,
sis.
but. Mm-hmm.
And other people don't think it's funny. Like that's
Everybody
what makes
thinks
it
I'm
worse.
funny.
No, it makes
That
it worse
is
when
why
you're
we're
saying,
here.
like when
That's
you
why we're
say
here.
stuff,
I'm
but you realize
hilarious.
other people don't have your same sense of humor.
Oh,
like,
I know. That's so awful too. And like the stuff, like you know, like
that's
you're
awful.
not supposed to say certain stuff in public. It's not politically correct. But like Trent and Quentin just sitting around being Trent and Quentin
Yeah.
can say stuff to each other that you wouldn't say to somebody else. And sometimes, like me and Jay
Oh
will be
my
laughing and joking
gosh.
with each other, and I'll say something and I'll forget that we're like in the dollar store or something like
Yeah.
that, you know. And I,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna get beat up sometime for being right.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be like, I promise he's.
But now let me ask you this. Now let me hit you with something real quick. This is go deep because this situation has come up on recently on Facebook, right?
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
scared.
About a child
Yes.
repeating what their parents have said in the wrong point in time.
So I think that the child is hearing it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank. Like, it doesn't always have to be the parents. Because my kids say some dumb shit that I didn't ever come out with. They heard it from YouTube or they heard it from
Yeah.
whatever. But as a parent of a child saying that, you have to fix that and make sure that they don't do that anymore. But also, it's like me and Jay joking with each other, and when he was not, Braylon might hear me and you talking, or Malik might hear me and you talking, laughing, and then go out and say some shit like that, and we all be embarrassed and be like, it wasn't, what had happened was.
But now let's think about this.
But I
This
still
is-
think that it's okay.
No.
It's not okay.
But now this is something I've been thinking about.
Hold on, I need to put my input.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So, circle back. So, you know, how am I going to say this? So, what you were saying about that post, the post circulating, I shared said post, and at the same time, I was like, you know, I probably shouldn't have. Cause
Yeah.
my son.
You don't know the whole details, or
Well,
okay.
son plays
Yeah.
sports.
We're all in a social small town setting.
Yeah, but I shared it because said child's father has, kind of said some things directed towards
That you've heard personally.
that I've heard personally towards my kid and another child of color. And it's not anything like terrible, but it's more of like
An attitude towards
Yeah.
somebody.
that kid.
Yeah.
That kid. Keep that kid from tackling my child. That kid. Well, to me, that kid, what does that kid mean?
That's like saying boy to my husband.
Like, what does that kid mean? Like,
Yeah.
they have, like, you should know their names. They play sports together. Or, like, don't be yelling at the coaches saying that. Like, go up to these coaches, hey, we're just scrimmaging. Can you get your kids in a huddle? Don't have them tackle the quarterback.
I think
if we're just
people's
scrimmaging.
wording is a lot of. Momo has called some girls mama because the little girl was making videos and saying the N word in her little TikTok videos or whatever, and Momo asked her not to, and she kind of came back with something smart. So Momo called the girl's mom and was like, sent her the videos and was like, this is what your daughter's doing and it's inappropriate. And I'm not going to beat her up, but somebody's probably going to beat her up if she keeps going. And there was another, with the adult that came in and said something when Momo was there.
Momo was at
About
a
it.
guy I went to high school's house with. And another guy I went to high school come over there and walked in and said, are y'all having an in party in here?
Yeah.
And
Whether
that
he
was a
mentioned it, Momo
whole
or not, she was the only
ordeal.
black person in the house.
Is it Lil Debbie? Oh. But that's something that kids do hear stuff because we say stuff in a stupid manner. And so, like, if Carter went and said something and we come back, but you would still be like, I will take care of that. He shouldn't have heard when, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Just
saying? Like, something like, but other people don't care if you're joking.
Do you feel like, now I'm asking the questions.
This is what it's about.
Do you feel like social media and like YouTube and these outsources and stuff are also influencing kids to talk this kind of way?
Yes. And I do think that I'm not against like rap music or anything, but like I do feel like the music people listen to influences a lot, and all we're doing is, what'd you say, selling drugs and sing, like
they always push an
it's
agenda.
the bad part of a life. Like it pushes a stereotype.
Yeah.
That
They get
you're
paid
trying
more.
to
They
not,
get paid more to like push out negativity.
And so people say these words, and then there's kids like when Jay was 9 years old and his friends wanted to say the N word, they would ask for a pass and he would give it to them. Because what do you say when you're 9 years old and you're white? Like, you don't want to not tell them they can do it. Well, then they, you know what I'm like, and that's a whole.
And a lot of them now, it's just like my 7-year-old, he can watch his tablet and watch all these different YouTube videos and see. And if he sees that it's okay on there, then that means it's maybe okay in society to act like that.
And also, there's a lot of, like, the whole cancel culture thing. Like, when that happened with the ballpark, and people were sharing it and tagging WPSD, and all these people were dogging the ballpark and calling me and Trent racist. And because if you just see me and Trent, you have no idea that so a lot of people will see us and first thing, oh, well, they must be,
Last
if
weekend,
something was said.
I was in Evansville, Indiana, running a baseball tournament. And this older white gentleman was pulling a wagon, and I would assume his son was walking next to him, probably about my age. And there was this little, about 3-year-old black boy walking right behind him. And this woman comes around the stage, and they're passing each other. Well, she walks by the older gentleman and his son, and that little boy is walking right behind them. She turns around and she goes, okay, we got to find this kid's mother. And that grandpa turns around and he says, that's my grandson. You know, and but I can't tell you how many times I've been out somewhere with JJ or Momo, and you know, it's just that can't be.
My mom's first husband was blonde haired, blue eyed, and when Jay was first born, he wouldn't take him to like Walmart or anywhere like that because there was a lot of kidnapping and stuff when we lived in Florida, and he was like, I don't want him to be in a bad mood crying because I didn't buy him a toy and somebody come up to me. Yeah, but for real. Like, he was like, I didn't want to do, and I never would have thought about that, but like, they don't. Like, if Jay throws a fit and even Scott, but Mike at that point, picked him up, kicking and screaming, and tried to walk out of Walmart with him, somebody would stop him and call the cops.
Yeah.
Because they would think he was kidnapping a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, like, that's crazy. It really is.
It is.
There was something else that you said, and it made me want to go into something, and I can't think about what it was now. That social media. So like when all that was being shared, and all these people were talking bad about us and the ballpark, when nobody really knew what was even going on or that anything, and like one guy was tagging the news and trying to say something, and I sent him a message, and I was like, I know that you don't know me, but go through some of my pictures. Just go through my pictures on my Facebook and see who I am. Talk to, I think I said like Chris Payne and like, you know, Biracial's granted. Like, I was like, go talk to some people about us. I was like, but if you contact the news and try to push this and get it, I was like, we're trying to bring up the demographics of baseball in this small town where it has historically really only been white kids out here. And so, like, you're going to push a whole bunch of people away from joining a ballpark and a new sport and trying a new thing, and it's going to be because of something that really wasn't true anyways. I was like, so before you do that, and people took their shares down after, like, they did listen to me, which I was very thankful for. Yeah. But, like, I feel like some people are too quick to share stuff and not know.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You can wreck somebody's business or relationship, like Sedalia Cafe that one time. Remember when that got all shared around? And that was there was a lot.
I can't remember what it was about, but I do remember that stuff.
One of the waitresses there. I don't even remember either.
What it was.
But like, especially small town, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You're gonna share it. You're gonna at the football game, Navi.
Mm-hmm.
That got shared a lot.
Man, I was with Navi when that happened too.
Yeah, and like Crystal. Oh, you ran for city council. Crystal ran for city. Like, these are people who are prominent in the community, and this is still happening to their children.
Mm-hmm. And it's something that will probably never go away.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, you have to raise your kids and know that this is what you're going to face. You can't just raise them and not tell them that, because then they'll be faced. It'll hit them when they get older, and then they'll be like, it'll be a lot harder.
So there's something else we kind of hit on earlier. You were raised as a young black man. You said your mother really pushed that. You're raising your kids, Malik and Zane.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume the exact same way for both of them. I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no idea how to be a young black man. You know
Well,
what I'm
see,
saying?
and
And I didn't have family.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, I don't know that I'm raising my
Yeah.
young men.
I feel like
to be
bro over
Yeah.
here is like a entitled douchebag white boy in almost every sense of the word,
Basic
but
white girl for sure.
a basic white girl. And but like you,
And
I don't. But
I
like,
will say,
did
I
teach
feel
him
like
about
it gave
pop
me-
stuff, or did I teach him about?
I feel like it might have gave me more character, because yeah, there's things that you learn from a father figure, but like a lot of that you also learn just being a man in general. So I feel like I have the basic male knowledge, and then
it
I
wasn't
have
about the male
to
part of
an
it. It was about the
extent.
black part of it.
And then I
where
have-
was going.
yeah, and then but even at that, like with growing up with all these, like, where black people like Navi and all, like, they
Right,
were the
but you
popular crowd,
didn't.
so it was, but within school I was still,
guess.
but like, hold up, where was I at? Hold up.
in the thoughts.
He
She
asked
said-
at one point when he was younger and we first moved up here, he maybe was 6 or 7 or something, and he asked if there were black granddads because he had never met a black granddad.
That's
like
what it
in
was.
Florida and all that, and that he does know a lot of strong black father figure role models from growing up, but like I just feel like and maybe it is better. Maybe there's just going to be a whole lot of like black men that were raised by single white moms who just don't have those reservations and refuse to accept that you're going to treat them differently. Maybe that'll be what changes the world type stuff.
I feel like that was
I feel like he's gonna be like, do you know who my dad is? Like that type of boy. Yeah. That's JJ.
Okay.
Like he is not like. What do you mean you're gonna?
Yeah.
Like, and so like, he might get in a situation that he is not prepared for.
Crap.
That you have prepared your kids for.
Oh.
And you know.
I'm here.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you got. I mean, you have to live it to be able to.
Yeah, I can't. Like teaching him how to drive was the first time that I ever thought that I wasn't teaching him everything that I needed to be teaching him, because I just taught him the way I was taught. Or
well, I mean, I'll give you an example. Last night, Malik went out. Him and I had a friend come over, and they wanted to go to Sonic. I said, yeah, it's fine. Then he texted me, said, can we go walk around? No, I'm not going to let you walk around.
Absolutely
Why?
not.
Because you're a young black man walking around the neighborhood and somebody's going to think you're up to something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Me and Carson were out one time walking, and we heard people yelled at us, so we ran back to the house, and then 10 minutes later, we looked out the window, and there was cops driving down the street. Because, I mean, that might have just been because we were kids, but also, I mean.
But yeah, I mean, it's just.
He wears a hoodie all the time. He's got headphones in all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And you wouldn't. I mean, and they don't know that Malik and the kid that was with him are great kids that don't get in trouble. They don't. They're not delinquents that do anything.
The only person he fights is Momo, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, he might lose.
But that's the kind of thing that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing though. I gotta think though, and I gotta think about my son. Is I can't let him just go freely and do
what he wants.
I think Trent had a hard time getting that when we first got together. He did not want to. He was like, no, he's fine. And I was like, I just don't think he is. I think that was something that Trent had a hard time grasping.
And I agree with you. It ain't ever gonna die, because like white people, even when like there's nobody around. Like here's a perfect example. And we talked about it 100 times. We go down to Barlow and go duck hunting, and we get to the draw house, and it's usually like 4:15 in the morning. It's dark outside. One morning, me, Q, and another friend of ours went down there to go hunting, and me and John got out of the truck and come around it, and we're standing in this crowd of guys that are we call friends, but we really
acquaintances.
We see each other 60 days out of the year during duck season, because we hunt the same place and we draw. We'll hunt with them occasionally, but anyway, they didn't even see Q, and they're standing there talking to me and John. The one boy's guy that he usually hunts with wasn't there, and I said, who you hunting with this morning, Shelby? And he said, all them N-words over there. And Q was standing right behind him. And mind you, this kid's probably 23, 24, maybe, and about 160 pounds soaking wet. And I said, oh yeah? I said, Q, did you hear him? He goes, what'd he say?
And then out walks this.
I told him, and Shelby turned around and looked at Quentin. He turned back and looked at me, and he was white as a ghost.
Yeah.
And me and Q just died laughing,
But people, things like that happen, and do you say something to them if Quentin's not with you?
I have. Like, one morning, John and I were hunting with some guys in the swamp, and this old boy, it was about 5 times it come out, and that 6th time it come out, I said, hey man, my kids are mixed. I said, I understand that whatever, but I just don't want you to talk like that around me. He respected it. He didn't say a word. He didn't get out of line. He was totally calm. He understood. He apologized. But just the fact that I had to say something, because it made me feel uncomfortable. It's just people.
But that's the only way that people are going to not do it.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many of those old men out there at that Barlow draw have mixed grandbabies, and they won't stand up and say anything, but they would be relieved that you would. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Like, I do try to. Okay, well, guys, we're a little bit. I don't know how much he has to cut off because we weren't
filming.
Filming well, we're not on a time limit. We can do it for long, but an hour is
You got
usually
more to
people.
watch.
People not gonna watch us. You're gonna be on several more episodes.
Yeah.
You know this.
The
Next
This
time
is-
y'all see Q on here, get ready.
Yeah, the next time
Get
y'all
your
see you on
popcorn
here,
ready.
you didn't see Q on here. That's what
Get
he's
your
gonna say.
popcorn and tea ready.
Uh-huh.
Gonna be a
Yes, I can.
And I know bangers.
Back with another bang.
And I know bangers.
Yeah, yeah, I love.
Are you talking
He's
about
gonna
this
have
song?
so much fun
Yeah.
with my.
That
I'm gonna
is-
have
this
a whole
is
outline.
not a
question.
banger. This is
and I'm
not a
writing
banger.
Answers down as you're doing
Just-
them, just so I can
That way-
have a.
Or if he tries to lie, we'll have his answers.
I'm be like, no,
No, that's not what you said of this one.
On April the 17th at 3 p.m.
You
This
said.
is what you said, okay? This right here is what you said. Okay, I don't even
Wait.
have. Are you? Oh, she wants to ask y'all a question. And
What?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good. JJ, what is your preference,
dating wise.
dating wise?
Can I weigh in right quick?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna shock your mama because of something you told me last weekend. I would normally say a little white girl, blonde headed.
Little white girl.
Blonde head, blue eyes,
But I'm
thin
gonna
like
tell
a
you something.
broom.
He has
No
found
meat on her
him
bones.
a dark skinned queen,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Man,
But I
I don't
know
even
that
remember
was
which one it was.
His first day at college, the girl with the goddess
Man.
braids. And he said something about her braids, and she was like, hey, you know what goddess braids are? And he was like, girl, I know my hairstyle. Like how JJ does, you know how he does. And catches them
That's how
just
you
like
really
that.
get the
Like,
female. If you really like.
Oh my
you
gosh.
point out
Look at
stuff
Summer
that
Walker.
They don't even know,
Acrylic.
like.
Listen to Summer Walker, and your
like French
attribute,
tip.
your attributes go up.
Like if you be
by
like, oh,
10.
like girls with friends, they'll be like, how you know what that stuff
Yeah.
like
She got
that?
mad.
Like,
I told a
and
girl
then
something
you're
about.
soft and
I mapped this
whatever.
girl's
That's how
lashes.
you really.
You hooked him in.
That's how
I
you know
mapped
you
this
got
girl's
them.
lashes one time, and she called me a.
Don't listen to Q's tips.
I was like, what I
I
do?
don't like taking
No,
I got all the little
hold on, that's the next episode.
I got all the little
That's the
tips.
next
I got all the
episode.
tips.
Dating tips with QT.
Is that the topic?
QT. Tuesday
When you
tips.
sing it, all y'all gonna call him
Like me and JJ can show y'all what's up. Like,
Q-tip.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm saying
did
little
they not
two-man
just call
action.
you
Little
Q-tip?
2-man action.
Two-man action.
Let's go on, bro. We can
Two-man
do
Q-T.
a podcast.
I hit up
Two-man
me and JJ if
podcast.
y'all need a
QT's
two-man.
top 10.
Yeah, link in the description. 2-man podcast. Let me stop. I'm
What would that be hard? Two-man podcast? Let's do it.
live stream it like
Let's
Kai
do
and
We can
NLE
do
Chopper.
it. That'd be
That
hard.
would be fun.
Okay.
Hey, me and
y'all
JJ are
are-
gonna make a podcast called Two-Man
So
Podcast.
you don't care anymore. You don't have
no,
a
like
preference anymore.
I really,
You've opened your horizon.
and to be honest, before I really didn't have a preference either.
It's all about the
It was
personalities.
no, it was the women that came after me
That's
were
true.
primarily white girls.
But
Do you
because-
feel like it is because you were raised in a primarily white home with a white mother and a white grandmother and a white
Yes.
like do you feel like it's because you didn't have that black culture
I feel like
side?
just the same way. It's gonna sound
you had it
just
though,
the
you feel
same
like
way.
white girls.
A white girl or like-
You do got 2 kids
I
by
got
a
2
black
black
girl.
girls and was married to a black girl for a short
That
period
is
of
true.
time.
Your first wife.
My first
I'm
wife.
your only
Well, my
wife.
my longest relationship is
Yeah.
with a black girl, like 2-3 years.
But
I don't think it. I don't see.
But now I would say that there is a difference.
There is a difference.
There is
Oh my
definitely
gosh, there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a attitude difference.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Definitely.
a
Who has the more attitude?
Black girls.
Are
no
you
disrespect.
making? Are you saying that it's a mad black woman? Are you gonna get thrown in the jacuzzi
No.
out
I
of
mean,
a
no, I'm not gonna say
wheelchair
it.
because
Yeah.
eat it.
so
Black girls are crazy.
And the same
No
way a
disrespect.
white
No
man,
disrespect.
the same way a white guy
Where's the mute button?
doesn't like
Yeah.
dating a black girl, like black girls are just as fast to rule you out just for being like just for a white guy. Like, you know what I mean? Just the same way like a black guy or a black or a white guy or a white girl won't date a black person, a black girl's just as fast not gonna date a white. You know what I mean? So being whitewashed, like I did not get
That's the
no.
term for it.
I did
Y'all
not
are
get no.
whitewashed?
I get that's what
You
people
wasn't
called me.
whitewashed.
That's what people called me was whitewashed.
No, you're not
Whitewashed.
whitewashed.
That sounds so much
Like
better.
whitewash is not
Douchebag.
taking
yeah,
away.
I don't feel like you've been whitewashed. You've been through you've been. It's just a different way that you were raised.
Yeah, that's. I feel
Well,
like I
you
got a
were-
little bit of
He ain't
spite.
black
You seen it on TLC and he's like, I believe I'm a black man. I mean, white man, but it was a black dude.
I did call
That's
him
whitewash.
every
Like,
time,
you
called
don't
him
want to take
out.
no stand on black.
Uncle Ruckus type shit.
Uncle Ruckus.
Wait,
Uncle
so
Ruckus.
Time he was on that porch
whitewash is
there.
when you're a black
Not
man.
black enough.
What do you
But
But
say?
you don't want to
Right.
take like the side of black. Like you're not
White.
proud to be black. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I feel like.
Oh, I think you're proud to be black. I just
Exactly,
don't
so
think
that's why I
that
say
you were
not
like
whitewash.
raised. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like you're black, but you were raised with a lot.
And I
He
was
raised
definitely
in a
shown.
free
I
bird
don't care nothing, bro.
kind of mentality.
What is
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not, he wasn't raised like there was a white and black issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference because as people that are raised in Mayfield, you were raised as there is a black and white issue.
Yeah.
You know, when you're raised as a where there's not an issue, there's not an underlined issue, there's not a stereotype, there's not people that look at you differently, which that might be the different culture in Florida because they might think because you know they have a different type of races. They got Cubans, they got. They got everybody in the culture pot from every nationality there is. But now you
They're
come to
more
Mayfield and
against
say,
Northerners than they are anybody else in Florida.
and then you come over here and say, well, I'm gonna say Mayfield, you go Western Kentucky, it's whites, blacks, Hispanics.
Yeah.
You may have your Asians, but that's
Somalians
literally,
and
The
but
Somalians, I hear a lot about that.
but I mean, that's what you're gonna.
But
that's what you see. I mean, and that's just. It's just the difference of what because as a kid is I've had my dad say, man, there's that white man over there, or they gotta watch out for him, because they'll get you, or you can't trust them and all that. And it's the same thing as a white person raised and say, there's that black dude, you can't trust him, you gotta watch him. It's just different ways of different opinions and different ways people view people. Are we still on?
And I will say it's like it definitely is like the small town thing because like going to college, it's more like there's racism, but it's like that fantasy race, not fantasy, but like that outlandish racism that you see on like the news, less of that little like the grabbing you see that in like the small town, like up there. I don't see
There's
many
like
people
that guy
like
pointing
clutching,
down
you know what I mean? I don't see none of
saying,
that.
"Protect me from
It's
these
like
guys."
it's like the protests and the people saying those guys, you know what I mean? Like the crazier racism. But like it's also so much more diverse. Like I'll say there's some bad. I ain't never seen a light-skinned girl like I've seen on that college campus in Mayfield, and I don't care. Like simple as that. And if you know who I'm talking about, if you're watching this, come on back. I'm here still. Come on.
I can't
Spin the
wait
block?
until
Spin
your
the
next
block.
episode to see
Nah,
how he
that's
acts
OD.
on
Spin
it,
the
too,
block.
because-
Come
We
on.
can't do the spin the block. We can't.
All right. So we had a good talk about this.
We got way off track.
We got
Man,
way off track.
we're
but
at
I
an
think
hour
it was
30.
good. But some of it needs to be cut off.
Like
and
5
we're
minutes.
We're going to go through it. Because the very front of it does too. Okay. So,
No, it doesn't.
Time
I
to-
started right time.
time to go fly high. Little birdies.
Yeah.
And what are we going to...
Cuckoo. So maybe the music like
Peacock, let me fly.
Lauren's struggling a
Go
little
like a
bit.
fucking penguin.
I was that weird chicken off of Moana or whatever it was off of.
Struggling to take off.
Okay, we will see you guys next time. I don't know who will be our next guest. I think me, Jay, and Trent are going to do one about blending our family and how that's worked out for us. So, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Toodles.
See ya.